Aloha, everyone. Aloha, Rainbow Covenant Ministries. The Rainbow Covenant, that is the name of our ministry. Aloha, friends, family, loved ones, and everyone else in between and around that. God bless all of you. Aloha and shalom. I am on today because you guys are emailing me and some of you put some messages in the YouTube. Some of you have written me. And I just want to tell you that I love you back. I was running. I had my Senate run that Lord told me to do. And we're in that whole thing now, the swing of all of that. So can't give strategy away, but everything is going, according to what was to be expected. So we'll just leave that to the side, but everything is well. Okay, to address all of you, I'm fine. I love you back. Delissa, Lori, Laura, Miss Blocker, so many, I don't know, so many of you, Antonia, I'm just showing some names out, Aloha Lani, if I'm forgetting you, just please, okay, if I'm forgetting you, please blame it on my mind, not my heart. And I'm not even going to use the word forgetting you. If I'm having a slip of thought, just in calling names out, please forgive me. The anonymous person that's writing me from New York, I love you back. I guess I'm just going to give you something to, taste right now. I'm going to tell you about a dream that I had, because I know, I'm not home. So, yeah, I needed a break. I was tired and my body was just saying, Asia, you got to chill out. And I had to listen to my body, because a lot of you that have been following me know that I have been undiagnosed with some anonymous condition that affects my blood, and treatments of that and everything. That if I don't stay on top of that, I'll be out. And so some of my loved ones, after the primary, they was like, come on, and I was like, I'm there. So I just want you to know that if you don't see me physically, it's because I'm not there. I am enjoying some R&R, needed R&R, and I'm being extremely spoiled right now, and I'm liking it. I needed a break. I needed to be loved on physically by my family. I would like everyone to please pray for my mom as well. My mom had surgery today, and yesterday. And I just would like, those of you, that you have your parents still in your life, it's a blessing. Recently, I went to my sister, Halani. I went to her father's homegoing service. And, one thing that I noticed was it was so much love, honor, and respect being exchanged, among family, friends, and just neighbors, and just ohana. And one thing that I noticed that is so common now is people remember to honor people when they're gone, But I also want us to be conscious of the fact that those of us that are alive, that are parents and everything like that, and I'm speaking to and ministering to myself when I say this, sometimes, we want that honor, that love and respect, and sometimes, sometimes things happen in life where there needs to be some healing. And a lot of times, especially in the world that we live in today, people hold back love because of hurt and pain and grudges and just things that they're having a hard time dealing with psychologically and emotionally, right? So in that, I would just like us to, just try to be gracious to one another. Let's not like so easily, just throw people away that are loved ones that are being difficult. Sometimes it's not that they want to be difficult. It's just that they don't know how to say I'm sorry. They don't know how to heal the right way. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us just to try to, just forgive just because God told us to, and just love, whether we get that phone call that says, I'm sorry, I miss you, I need you, let's just act like they did, because we don't want to be in a situation where we're at a funeral and we're hearing a bunch of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, let's just, and I don't know what to say beyond that, but if that's touching someone, I hope that ministers, and I'm talking to myself as well, because sometimes, a lot of us, we've been betrayed by the closest people to us. People that we would never imagine would ever like throw us under the bus. And so, a lot of times, family members, they misunderstand or think that you don't love them or want to be with them or be around them, but you just been hurt too. You like, what? This was my father that hurt me, so why wouldn't you? Or this is my mother that did this, and how should I trust you? Or this was my spouse or my child. It's like people that are like so close to people are like hurting each other. It's almost like you don't know who to trust, who to love, who to let your guard down to. So if we understand and come out of an entitlement mentality where we feel like, you're supposed to call me because that's just how it is. Or you're supposed to, sometimes psychologically and emotionally, spiritually, people may not be thinking the way that you are. I know, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but, about 2 years ago, I went through something. And, I'm like that strong mommy, and no matter what happens, we going to figure this out. And I always come out on top, like all the time. But somebody hurt me that was so close to me. I was devastated. And I know a lot of you may not have known this, but I kind of came off of, like doing videos. I wasn't on, like if I came on, I think it was like, if I did come on, I was just like giving a vision or a dream or something like that. But I wasn't like preaching like I normally do and teaching like I normally do. And I know a lot of you felt that, because I know y'all was like, something, but in the background, I was devastated, in a way that everything shut down, and I did not, bounce right back from that. You know what I mean? I was dealing with things, and God knows I didn't need to transfer that to you guys, because I know how powerful my spirit is. And it was just not a good time for me. So I used to say, even more recently, I used to say, Father, why did you allow this to happen? Why did that? Why? And, where I am in my mind right now, in my spirit right now, I understand, like, who am I to think that this can't happen to me? Now that it has happened to me, I can minister to you and tell you that someone might be going through something that you don't know about. And, they might be acting out of character because they're going through something and they have no idea how to handle that. And there's nobody that they can talk to, and they're going down right now. And they want to reach out for help, but then they have like the ridicule of this one, that one, the other one, the opinion of this one, that one, the other. And sometimes you don't need ridicule, you don't need opinion, you don't need nothing. You just need somebody to hold you. And sometimes you don't need them to say anything. Just be there. And when you finish crying, when you come off your face from the Lord and all kinds of stuff like that, just have something to eat there ready, and some water with ice in it, whatever it is that you need, and just here, you all right? Here's something to eat. All right. And you go back into your closet and you crying it out, and you wailing it out for the Lord. Sometimes you might be going through that, or somebody might be going through that. And the fact of the matter is that you don't need nobody judging you at that time. You need to get through that moment. But when you have people that are so used to you knowing what to do, knowing what to say, bouncing right back up, and when you get to that point where you're like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, God, you're gonna have to deal with this one. Because yeah, like when you have one of those types of situations, you know, and that's the wonderful part of when God can trust you to go through that, because you develop a compassion and an understanding for other people, where you're not putting an expectation on them, because you know what it feels like to be in that place of breakdown. You know, you can have a nervous breakdown, you can have a psychological breakdown, you can have a physical breakdown, you can have a spiritual breakdown. And you know, sometimes, you know, it's really bad where you can have a total breakdown where it's all of that. And you need, that's when you need somebody. But when the people that you're supposed to be able to run to are the ones they kind of contributed to that, what do you do? So, you know, I want us to keep that in mind when we have expectations of how we think people should be responding, or what, you know, entitlement mentality that we may be having when we think that, you know, everybody's supposed to be there for us, when we don't know how to be there for us. So how can we expect other people to be there for us and we don't even understand what we're going through? You understand what I'm saying? There are times in life, it may not happen to everybody, but there may be a time or a situation in life where you may face that total breakdown, you know, that, you know, and, you know, just having compassion. And then when someone comes out of that, understanding that if that wasn't their normal character, and being able to have the maturity and mindset where you can understand that that's not how that person normally is. Something happened to them. Maybe as opposed to picking up you wasn't there for me, you didn't call me, I was going through this. And, you know, I had someone that did not know that I was going through like these IV treatments to literally stay alive. And they called me, and they're like yelling at me on the phone. And they actually said to me, "You're not the president," and it's that and the other. And I'm sitting there, and I still got the bandages on my arm from laying there with IVs. I was sitting there in the chemotherapy ward with the cancer patients that are receiving the chemo. I'm in that area, and I come back, and this is what, and they had no idea. And I'm like, this happened to me. This is what's going through my mind, but I didn't transfer it to them to make my issue there. All of the, and then they began to tell me, because I was in the hospital and you didn't call. I didn't know they was in the hospital, just like they didn't know I was going through. I didn't train, but they obviously were making it vocal enough where they thought it would go through the grapevine to get back to me, and expected me to respond. And I wasn't in a position to respond to them. I could hardly. It was literally so bad. The condition that I had, it was like I was seeing 5 of people, if I was able to see. Everything was like, the room was spinning. I was nauseous. I couldn't, and it wasn't like it was like if you was on one of those rides and it kind of did that thing to your stomach. It was like that. It wasn't like I'm sick and I have to, like a sick kind of vomit. It was like motion sick, like everything in my equilibrium was off. I heard angels all around. I had pastors calling me from all over the world. One of my rabbis called me from Georgia, and he's like, Asia, what's going on? He saw me in the spirit, and he was like, he saw my soul hovering over my body. And when he saw this, it was so amazing, because I really felt that at that moment, it had to be maybe about 5 minutes, and I was laying there, and I was so weak. I remember I literally saw like my ghost come up, and the phone rang, and it went like like back then, I was like, yo, what in the world? I believe I would have died that night. It was something that was going on. And he began to tell me how the enemy was trying to kill me, and how things were being sent at me. And I knew it was necromancy, you know, and I'll talk about that in a second as I tell you this dream. But I had, what do you call it? What else was going on? I could not walk. Everything exhausted me. When I say everything, I mean my bed to the door was probably 7 feet. Halfway there, I had to stop. Like 7, I had to stop. I was so winded. If I went to the bathroom or something like that, I ended up, it winded me so much that I had to sit there. And then I would sit there so long because I was too weak to get back to my bed. I sat there so long that my legs fell asleep. And you know, like when your legs fall asleep, you have like that, it feels like little ants is in the bottom of your feet and everything like that. And I hate that feeling. So I'm like rubbing them and I'm like, oh my God, please get back up, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, so I had all of that was going on, and then that dead leg feeling. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what else could go wrong? So it was just like, it was just awful. I was just going through so much stuff. And this person's like, I was calling you, I'm calling you. I could not hear no phone. I was not answering no phone. If I did answer the phone, it was a happenstance. I just happened to have the phone in my hand. If the phone was across the room, you can forget about it. I was like, forget about it. It was not happening. So, you know, I had, my sister was present, and the phone, they called and they said this, you're not the president, and you this, that, and the other. So they're thinking like I'm ignoring them and just choosing not to answer the phone, because what they're seeing is like what I am now. Get myself together, and I would, you know, do a video or do something like that. And then afterwards, I was out for the rest of the day. Like that was it. Like a video, like what I'm doing right now, it's like 17 minutes in or so right now. It was like I was doing it. It was stretching me, and I was doing my best just to. It was actually the Holy Spirit that would keep me up, because I could not do it on my own. Just to, you know, to share what I was able to share. I was pregnant. Yeah, I was pregnant. And you know, then that happened, and you know, it was just a lot was going on, and it was just too much. And you know, and I'm saying all of this because I want you to know that when I was saying, God, why did this happen to me? Why all this, that, and the other? I'm at peace with knowing that I can now minister to you and tell you and hope that I'm tapping into compassion inside of you, where maybe the person that you're angry with or you feel hasn't called you or given you the attention that you feel is you're entitled to, maybe they're going through something, and it's deeper and bigger than you could possibly imagine. And maybe they need you just to show up. Maybe the feeling that you're having about them not calling you, maybe God is putting them on your heart for you to act. You understand? And the excuse of you never call me, or you never, God, if you're that angry and you having that type of response, maybe God is putting them on your heart to call. If they're not calling, you don't know why. You don't know what they are going through. And sometimes you could be talking to someone every day and you think that they're perfectly fine. It might be a co-worker or somebody at church, or whatever it is, you know, or affiliation you have with them. And you think that, you know, they look on the outside like they got everything together. And then they go home and it's not. Those are the instances where you hear on the news, oh, such and such died. You're like, I just saw them the other day. They committed suicide. They were laughing. It was it. You don't know what people are going through. So let's not just automatically take on the spirit of offense to think that, oh, you're not calling me, so I'm going to be angry with you. I'm going to hold a grudge at you. I'm going to say something smart if I do hear from you. That's another thing that I know I cannot stand. If I haven't talked to you in a while, and then when we do talk, all I'm hearing out your mouth, you haven't called me, you ain't this, and you ain't that, and I can't believe that. That's not how you receive someone. That's not how the prodigal's father received him when he came back. You know what I mean? He was coming down. He already knew he was coming. At some point, you know these people, you're going to communicate with them God's spare life. Don't receive them like that. You understand? You don't know what they've been through. Sometimes people, when you finally do hear from them, they might have just mustered up enough courage just to get in front of you because they just need you to open your arms and say, come on, come on. You don't know what people are going through. I had an opportunity recently. Somebody lied on me and hurt me so bad. And it had been 2 years since I had been in any kind of communication with this person. Lord have mercy. And I had an opportunity to expose them. I had an opportunity. I knew that they was playing on my phone. I had an opportunity to they messed up. You know, they were lying, saying that they weren't playing on my phone, that the things that they were doing, that they were accusing me of, it was them doing it. And I had all of the evidence to show it. And I had compassion on them. At the last minute, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. You know, just because they're doing this, I'm not going to do this. Even though I can do this, I can destroy them. And at the end, when I had the opportunity, I said, no, why? Because I want God to be compassionate on me. Why? Because I just told you that I was going through some terrible things that had nothing to do with, had a lot to do with this person. But what I was going through, I wanted God to have compassion on me. You understand? I wanted God to heal me. And I know the evil, for these people to do what they did to me, they can't possibly be happy. Because if I'm not bothering someone and I'm not involved with someone and they're going to that extent to set me up, to do all of this stuff like that, there's no reason for me to think that God is not dealing with them. You understand? I'm not doing that. They are. That's the evidence and the fruit right there. Happy people don't have time to do those things. They had sent me, played on my phone, and then they, you know, when you do evil, you tell on yourself, and you don't realize, because let's say, you know, eventually when you do crimes, you're gonna mess up. And so I remember I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and I'm like, this person, they give something, you know, a show, you know, or give the illusion that something is happening to them. And then I'm looking at the bottom of the page of the app that they're using to harass me and pretend like it's not them doing it. It's called Text Now. And I kept saying, who's playing on my phone? And is that and the other? And it was a young, my niece had came and told me the only way that these people can play on your phone is if they have an app. And it was like the only app that does this is Text Now. And this was like a few days before I saw this document, you know. And so I get this document and I'm like, okay, they're saying that I'm doing this. And then at the bottom of the screen, they actually have the Text Now, the evidence that it is them doing it through this particular app. And I said, wow. My niece just told me about this app, and this is how they play on your phone and everything like that. And then I started to see, like, the cursor and stuff where they were editing PDFs to modify, you know, things to, you know, to look a certain way, to, you know. And I had the opportunity. It was right in my hand, and I did not do it. I didn't do it. And some people might say, well, you know, you should have, and you could have, you know, but I thought about it and I said, you know what? Everything that's happening right now, God see from heaven, and God been protecting me. And I'd rather have the protection of God on me than to ever be in a position where I look like these people and have to resort to like what these people are doing. like lying and then acting out of character and all kinds of crazy stuff, things that no one that knows me I would ever do. And then people that want you to look like you're that type of person, they would just love to eat something like that up. And then you have to think, what does this woman gain by, you know, involving herself with people that do things like this? It's not even my character. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Or to make it look like, you know, I'm interested in, you know, people that, you know, and there's no evidence whatsoever. So I had an opportunity to do these things. And then even though I showed mercy, they didn't show mercy, you know, to just leave me alone, which is all I wanted, was to be left alone. But I thought about it, and hopefully now that, you know, things planned out the way that it did, I hope that I'm left alone now, because I was doing exactly what I was being drugged into all of this crazy stuff to do anyway. I was having nothing to do with these particular individuals and wishing God to go ahead and just do what he's going to do concerning them. So I'm saying all of this to say we need to just, you know, we need to just forgive and put ourselves in a position where we can move forward and away from all of the strife. That means if it's in your family, if it's at your job, if it's at your church, if it's in your community center, whatever it is, just learn to forgive and move forward, because you don't know what people are going through. And when you return evil for evil, all you do is get more evil. And when you return evil for people that have done you good, those people that sow evil, they're going to reap that. Those that sow good, they're going to reap that. You understand what I'm saying? Just continue to move forward in doing good. And just, you know, the protection of God, I just pray in the name of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, and out of that, the protection and blood of Jesus just covers you and protects you as you go and you move through that trial, that situation, that illness, that infirmity, that accusation, that trial, whatever it is that's causing an affliction or oppression, or, you know, whatever it is, just Father, I cast this to you, because I cannot, you know. And I got to that point where I was just like, Father, I just cast that to you. And Father, what the Lord did was so amazing, because he raised people to not just cover me during that time, but they stood up and were more friendly and more family than I had ever seen ever before. I mean, just when I say loving on me, taking care of me, I mean, I had got down to, I think I was like 100, and I'm 5'7.5", almost 5'8". And so I had got down, I would think I was like 120 pounds. You could see my spine when I was, you know, and now, I mean, I done put some weight on. I got, you know, all of this going, all of that. That's not my doing. That's because those that call themselves family and love, they came and they took care of me. My sisters came across the ocean to take care of me. My brother said, get your behind on that and took care of me. Things that I was not getting because I did not return evil for evil. You understand? Because I show mercy, even though you would have expected to come from the people that were afflicting you. No, God removed those people from you, far from you. Even let their own decisions are haunting them. Meanwhile, he separates you and puts you where there's love. So when I sold, a lot of you are looking for that love to come from the people that hurt you. And you don't understand that maybe God is saying, turn this way. That is not where I want you to go. And maybe it may not be, I don't ever want you to go there again. It may be, this is not the season. I'm dealing with them, and you think it's you, but it's not. It's him dealing with them, and he don't want none of that splashing on you. But you so hurt and you don't understand it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because Lord, I went, yes, this testimony time, boo-boos. Yes, But when you get to the point where you understand that, who am I to think that I can't go through that? Why am I so special that I think I can't be afflicted? You know, when the Bible says it was good that I was afflicted, that I learned your statutes, your judgments, your ways, the love of Christ. And then when I go and I look now and I'm like, then you start to see all of the things that you was caught up with, because now that you've been separated and removed from it, you start saying, wow, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to take care of this one anymore. I don't have to give this one and this one and this one money. I don't have to open my house to have this type of lifestyle a part of me. I don't have to, you know, just things, you know, whatever it is that you might be going through. It's just the things that you were compromising yourself with. I don't have to live at this standard or this mentality. I don't have to be in a situation where, you know, I don't have a reciprocated conversation. You know, I can actually have an intellectual conversation with someone and it come back and it be fruitful and refreshing and things that you just was denying because you just lowering yourself to think that this is all that it is. And you think in that moment that, you know, hey, this is great and everything like that. But in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, but I kind of wish it was this. And usually sometimes those wishes are not big wishes either. They're like little things that would just, you know, turn out to be really big things if you had them. And then all of a sudden, you know, the time frame for either you to change or that person to change, it gets to the point where you're like, you know what? And then there's a situation where you might have to just take a break from one another. You know, some of you have friends that you've had to take a break from because you're like, sweetheart, you're doing the most and I need you to do the least right now. You know, that type of thing. And then, and it may not, and sometimes it's family. But then you get to the point where you understand when God brings those break type of relationships back together, you appreciate each other. You understand? And then you begin to observe the fruit of what happened in the separation time. You know, did you elevate while, you know, during that separation period? And they didn't. And you'll notice who had, you know, the blessing of God on them, because you'll notice that in a very short time, whoever, you know, God was dealing with, it's like they stayed there. You understand? You ever, you know, grow up with people, or, you know, have a certain, you know, type of situation in your family, and you might have moved away and you got a big house now, great career, and this, that, and the other. And then you go back to the old neighborhood and you like, everybody's still doing the same thing that they always been doing. Like they still going to hang on that corner. They still going to that hall sitting there. They still going to, you know, they still asking you for $5. They still, you know, as opposed to have a new car, they still going to get the hoopty from this one, that one, the other. They still drinking. They still smoking. They still, you know, it's no elevation. You're just going back, you know, and you just seeing like a recycling of the same thing that you left. And then they're looking at you like you're the superstar of the family or the neighborhood, or you're the one that made it out, when it's really not even all of that. It's just, you just changed your mind. I don't want this to be my portion for the rest of my life. And then you have some people during the separation that they think that things are greener on the other side, and you might be in a situation where you're incrementally elevating, but that incremental elevation may not be happening as fast as someone thinks that it should be. So they leave you. You see like a lot of men going through those stages, and they'll have a woman with them, and then that woman gets tired of living a certain way, or she wants this, and then the illusion of better presents itself, and then this man may come here, may have a nice car, you know, a good job or whatever, and everything like that, and then the whole love bombing thing takes place, and run behind this person, and you've left a good man, or if it's a woman, you've left a good woman, and now you're in this situation, and now you find out that this man is a womanizer. He done beat his wife before. He's got 10 kids you didn't know about, and then slowly but surely you done left something that you know, and it's just, you just building slower, but you wanted to fast track it. And then what ends up happening is the one that was incrementally, maybe God was making them do that incrementally because God knew that man or that woman that was with them was going to abandon them. He was allowing them to showcase themselves, and as soon as they go, they skyrocket. Incremental, that's when that preparation and opportunity meets, and they skyrocket, and then it's a whole woulda, shoulda, woulda, couldas. You understand? So, and I don't know who this is blessing, but this is just about wisdom and relationships and how we deal with one another in our internal families, with ourselves, with our, the outside world, everything like that. You just want to make sure when you make decisions, you don't want to make a permanent decision during a time where you're going through a temporary challenge. You understand? Like you might be just going through a season where you and your significant other, might be going through financial problems or something. I'm just throwing different hypotheticals out there, and, you make a decision like that. You want to leave somebody, because you're just going through that season. And then you go and make some terrible decisions during that time. And that season passes, and then now you're in a season of prosperity, and then you try to come back, and it's or when you think that person is doing well now, I realized I made a mistake, and so now you want to bring you and whoever you've been with, and then the drama that goes along with that, and you want to bring that back into a situation where you mess somebody, life up, and they may have they've gone through a lot of healing since you've been gone, or, and they may not deserve you. A lot of people think that, they have this narcissistic mentality where they think they like all that. I mean, I knew somebody, you ain't had no job, you ain't never kept nothing, your whole family is, and then they have in their mentality like that they're the catch, and everything that they have is because they know you and they've been blessed by you, and God bless you, and they're reaping the benefits of the blessing that God has given you. And then when they leave you, they feel like you've done something to them, when in actuality, they was just covered under the umbrella of God, and they've left that umbrella, and now they're blaming you because they made a decision to abandon you, when God was clearly blessing them because they were with you. So we have those situations. I've got a thought in my mind now. I had a relative in that situation, they was benefiting, from, my prosperity. And then, it was like, get me this, get me that, get me this, that, and the other. And then there's like one time I wasn't able to get them something trivial. It was like all of the other times that I looked out for them and I did this, that, and the other for them, it was like just thrown out the window. I was just the worst person on earth in the world because I didn't have it. So I don't know who this is, touching or blessing, but I'm just hoping that this testimony just helps you to have some compassion on people, because again, you just don't know what they're going through or what they've been through. Maybe we just need to learn to be there for others and not have the entitlement mentality to think that people should just always be there for us at all times, and us not have the presence of mind to say, maybe somebody needs us just as much as, we think that we need them. Maybe it's our go around, So that's my thoughts as far as that is concerned. And I hope that blesses somebody. I have a wealth of stories, been through a lot of crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, like I said, I choose to do good. I choose not to return evil for evil. I had another situation a couple of months ago where someone had, tried to like wrong me, and I didn't even know that they was even thinking about me. It had been a while since I had seen them. I'm talking about like years, and they just pop up, and it's like the anger and the rage that they have. It was like was like, and then they don't have a reason, you know. You ask, well, what are you upset about? It's like crickets, you know. And so, you know, those types of things. You can't make everybody happy, and you shouldn't be, you know, spending your time, you know, thinking that that's what your place on for of existence is, to just do that. Your job is to love the Lord with all of your heart and soul, worship Him, and just, the things that you have control over, you know, do the best that you can with that. And everything else, you need to have, you know, practice the serenity prayer, you know, and just know that, you know, there's a reason why we have a God, because there are things in our humanity that we simply cannot do, and we must call upon Him to help us in those areas, and just pray that His spirit of wisdom, keeps us and teaches us and guides us, and that we listen, you know. A lot of us, we need to be praying, you know, for holy ears, so that we learn to listen. You know, you can hear stuff, but to listen is completely different anointing. So I do want to share a dream with you. I was talking to Prophet, and I had a situation where I had, well, most of you know that have been following me, I have trances. I go into trances, and sometimes they happen at the most, you know, the most oddest times, that, you know, if I'm in the supermarket and it's like, oh, then sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, oh, you're sitting, you know, it just comes sometimes. Sometimes I'm in the body of a conversation with someone and my mind just snaps and goes someplace else. And then I'll come back and I'm like, they're talking and they think I'm listening to them. And I'm not. I'm someplace else. And I'm like, I just had a vision. When I come back, they're like, I was saying all of this stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is what happened. So I had fallen asleep. And I guess, to my understanding, I began to like twitch. You know, sometimes when you having a very vivid dream, your physical body will be responding, because your soul is wherever you are in that dream state, you know, whatever realm that is. And supposedly he tried to wake me, and when he touched me, the energy that was going through my body had touched him. He jumped back and he said, and this, I'm just going off of what I was told, so I didn't physically witness this part, but this is what I was told. I was told that it was a jolt back, and it was like, Lord, what is this? What is happening, you know, to her, you know? And like I said, everyone has been taking care of me, watching over me, making sure that I'm okay, loving on me, just everything. So the concern between my sisters and my brothers is real. It's real. It's real. They love me, and I know that. So he said that he was pulled into a vision, and from asking what was happening to me. Why is this happening to me? You know, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm going off of memory, and if I'm wrong, you know, I can let him tell himself or what have you. But he said that he saw someone that we both know, and this person was standing somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was, but he said there was a tree there, right, very close to where this person that we both know. I'm going to name him Hobo. So there was a tree, and the guy named Hobo was standing there, and there was a thing that he called a ventriloquist was standing there, and it had a red box in its left hand, and it was looking at Hobo with a evil look, like, I'm going to get you. Look, this is what the ventriloquist was doing, and it was hiding behind a tree looking at him. He said in the vicinity there was another entity just like this entity that was looking at Hobo, another ventriloquist. And he said what he could tell from the ventriloquist, one of the ventriloquists knew Hobo and was presenting itself as though it was helping Hobo, but it wasn't. It was planning to harm Hobo. And then the other ventriloquist that was farther away, he said this ventriloquist didn't really care about Hobo at all. It was kind of like, they just knew each other, but both the ventriloquists hated him. But both of them were presenting themselves like they were helping him, but they weren't. They were planning to hurt Hobo badly. And then I can't remember what he said happened after that, but he kept talking about this ventriloquist. And I remember he asked me, he was like, do you know a ventriloquist? And do you know what a ventriloquist? And I was like, I don't know a ventriloquist. And he was like, these are warlocks. These are demons. These are warlocks. And he said, Hobo is completely possessed by demons. These ventriloquists are doing things to him, and he thinks they're helping, but they're not helping. They're trying to harm him. And so I was like, wow, and then he told me that he said, don't worry about like Hobo or the ventriloquist or these demonic warlocks harming me. He said at first they were using Hobo and working through him to hurt me, but there's a divine protection on me. They can't do anything to you. They are targeting him directly. They're trying to hurt him directly. He kept saying, the Lord told him, Asia is protected by God. And when he said it, I felt that with all of my, it wasn't, how somebody tell you something and you want to believe it, there's a lot of people that, I received that because that's what I want. No, and then there's things that like if your name is Abigail, you go, Abigail, you go, huh? Like, your name, that's how I knew. That's how much I knew that what he was saying was true, because the evidence of it is true. And I truly believe that's because I had opportunities to take revenge on people and I didn't. I had opportunities to tell on people and I didn't. I had opportunities to do Lashon Hara so that people would know what people did to me and I didn't. I believe that the fruit of compassion, mercy, and goodness I sowed in the ground, and those trees have risen up to protect me, So you think that, this, a lot of times you sow into situations and you think that the fruit is supposed to come from that situation, and it might not. It might come in another way. So that's why I'm telling you, let's not, expect people to or have an entitlement mentality where people are supposed to do something for us or, all of that stuff, and it's supposed to come through them. It might not come through them. You understand? Like, your reward for doing good comes from the Lord. Who he uses is inconsequential. If you're looking for, I gave you $50, you give me $50 back, you might get your $50 plus some. Your return might come in the form of a business contract that you did not even expect, and then you're going still asking for this person, you need to give me my $50 back, and you don't even realize that heaven, just because you did that, heaven just gave you a $50,000 contract. You got your money back from heaven. But people don't think like that because they want to hold grudges. They want to be mad at people. They want to have a reason to be mean and nasty. They want to return evil, for good. And sometimes that's just how people's heart, how they are. So that's why it's always important to make sure that you do good. Don't worry about, other people in that regard like that. Just pray for people regardless, because it's the right thing to do. Because you want to eat from a tree that's the right thing. You understand? So you have to sow that in order to reap from that. So the dream goes by or what have you, and then I guess it was shortly after that. I don't know if it was a whole day later or whatever. I have a dream, and then in the dream I saw a tree, and the tree had like a arch-shaped door, and it was like it was very, very weird. It had like a Transylvania mystical kind of eerie feel. And the door was like a mixture of like gold and, excuse me, not gold, like purple and like a type of turquoise. It was like a mixture of a bluish green turquoise and purple, kind of like iridescent. And okay, so it was some type of arch door. It kind of like how a rainbow bends like that. That's what the door is, like an arch door. And the door was like it was like a turquoise purple iridescent type of door. And so it went up like this, and right towards the top where the arc was, it was like this opening that was like this, right? And from this opening, it kind of widened and the tongue came out and rolled out to me. And I believe it was me and my daughter was with me, and it kind of, and the tongue was the same color as the door. And it rolled out, and then it was kind of rolled out like how a red carpet would roll out, right? So we end up, I guess, like walking, and we go into this door. So it kind of like, it was like this slow, it wasn't a steep incline down. It was kind of like went down like how those old castles used to go. It was very gentle decline. It wasn't like steep steps that go down like that. It kind of winded down, and then it opened up like this and came out into what looked like this classroom. And the classroom was like the same color as the light bulb, the lighting. It was like this one light bulb, and illuminated most of the room except for this one little gray area on the side. I'll tell you about in a second. And so the room had like this blue hue, and it was kind of like bluish purple hue, more blue than purple. And so it came in this way. And that's when the opening came up, and then the room kind of opened up big this way. And so there was like some tables over here, like cafeteria long rectangle tables, and have a couple of chairs sitting in front of them. It wasn't like the bench was attached to the chair. It was just like tables, and then like some school chairs, folding chairs, whatever. And when I went inside, me and my daughter kind of went in. I kind of came in, and it was like you came in, and then it was like something over here, and then it was like this opening where people can walk around the classroom, and then the chairs was like up against the wall over that way. So it was a couple of people moving around the middle part, like right here. And then I saw my daughter kind of checking things out, and then I saw like this Oriental lady, and it was kind of like openings in parts of the walls where you can like go up places or other, you know what I'm saying, like that. So it wasn't like all wall. It was like a opening so you can go out this way. I don't know what was in those, you know, whatever, but I did notice it. So there was an Oriental woman that came over, and she was like, okay, like, what's your name? And she had like this book, a lined notebook, but it was on like a clipboard or whatever. And I told her, my name is Asia Su Yen. And I don't know why I said that, but it was like Asia Su Yen. So it was, and I remember when she was like, oh, okay. And she wrote Asia, and then I was like, no, I said the name, the ending name was SOO-YIN. I don't know why. This is just what I said to her in a dream. And so it was, and she's like, okay. So she wrote the name down, and she kind of did something, and she came back, and I guess it was some other people. I can't remember if she took their names or whatever, but I remember then it came to the point when my daughter had walked back in from one of the openings in the walls that would take you to another room or something like that. She came in. It just seemed like everybody was just kind of checking the place out. And she was like, okay, like, what's your name? You know, this, that, and the other. And so then my daughter, and I looked at her. So my daughter's like over here. And I turned to her and I looked at her, and I was like, I turned to her, I said, her name is Lachey. Lachey Suyin. But um, the Oriental lady is saying to my daughter, like, what's your name? And I turned to her and I was looking. I was like, her name is Lachey. Her name is Lachey Su. And as I was getting ready to say Su Yin, the lady, the Oriental lady, somehow she was going to put like my daughter's actual last name, almost like she knew. But then she looked at me like, oh really? It's like, and I turned to my daughter and I was like, well, tell her your name is like your last name is Su Yin. And then she was like, no. The Oriental lady was like, no, her last name is such and such. And I was like, no, that's my daughter. It was almost like she didn't know that she was kin to me. So I was like, that's my daughter. So she has my last name. And she said, oh, okay. And then she looked at us because me and my daughter, we look just alike. And she was like, oh, okay. And then I said, and then Lachey had to go over though to monitor the scribing of her name. And I'm looking at Lachey like, it's spelled like this, SOO-YIN. And I'm looking at her like as if to tell her, this is how you're going to spell it. Like pick up on what I'm saying, see what mommy's saying, do what mommy's telling you to do. And so Lachey's like, okay. So she's like, okay, Su Yin. And then all of a sudden, I look off to the side, and I see this ventriloquist. And in this, again, at the time, I didn't realize that's what it was. But off in the corner, I said, what is that? And remember I told you the whole room was like this blue except for this little section on the wall. It was just dark. And this thing was like looking, and it had in its left hand, it had like this casing, and it was like a mini coffin, but it was shaped like, it was like big up top, and then it went down like this, and then it went down like this, and then it went in a little bit and came like this, and then they like just connected at the center. So it kind of looked like an upside down raindrop, but not curvy, like more, it had more of the angle size or whatever. So I looked over and I was like, this thing is in here doing something or whatever, and it had something to do with this Oriental woman or whatever. And I was like, this dream is really, it was dark. It wasn't like it wasn't scary. It was just like a dark dream, like the tongue, the door. It was just real dark, like one of those, like when you watch one of them movies and you just feel different, like weird at the end, like, oh, what was that? Like it wasn't scary, but it was like it creeped you out or whatever. But it was, and I didn't feel creeped out. It was just dark. I don't know how to explain. It was just like a dark thing. So I noticed that there's a light. One of the openings in the wall, there was a light coming from there. So I go up there, and when I get up there, there's a class going on of some sort. There's an angel in the room. There's a class of some sort, and I remember when I walked in, it was like, as soon as you came in, it was like you sort of back to the chairs, and then it was a table. So when I came in, it was like the doors right here, and right there was like a row of students, and then the table bent that way, and then it was a row over that way, and then it was some more chairs and stuff over there on that side. But when I came in, it was like this row, and then right behind the table that was in front of the kids was this professor. And he was talking about Isaiah 29:4. But for whatever reason, something said, Asia, remember the scriptures. Remember these scriptures. Isaiah 29:4. And then he was talking about a ventriloquist. And I was like, and in the dream, I remember thinking, Jonathan was just talking about a ventriloquist. And I was like, why is he talking? But and it kept saying Isaiah 29:4, Isaiah. And then he said one of the lines from Isaiah 29:4. And it was like, and you shall be brought down, and you shall speak from the dust, and this, that, and the other. And I remember saying, remember. When I woke up, I could not remember the scriptures or anything like that. And then I had another dream after I woke up, And I can't remember off the top of my head what that dream was, but I do remember it was something about a ventriloquist. But when I had that dream, that's when I remember Isaiah 29:4, and I opened my eyes and I said, Isaiah 29:4, Isaiah, I'm not going to forget this time, Isaiah 29:4. So lo and behold, and I know I'm leaving stuff out, so I know I'm going to have to talk about this again because I know there's more to it. I'm just telling you the dream. I will talk about it in another video because I'm tired now. But what I discovered, something in my spirit just said, look up ventriloquist in the Bible. I'm going to give you something to go and check out. So when I go to look up ventriloquist in the Bible, because I kept saying, and there was another thing that happened. Before that dream, prophet says that he was watching TV and he was like, a ventriloquist, someone came on TV with a ventriloquist. This was all like in the same 24 hours time. All of this stuff was happening. Then this thing with a ventriloquist with this little girl with a bunny rabbit ventriloquist pops up on my phone. So I know these phones be listening to and everything like that, but I was like, the thing that came on TV, that was too random. That, you know, so I was like, why do I keep seeing this ventriloquist? So, and then it was after that I had the other dream that I woke, because I remember I was talking to everybody and I was like, I cannot remember the scriptures. I know some say, Asia, remember the scripture, remember them, and I forgot. And then I had this next dream and I cannot remember what the dream was. I'll try to ask one of the sisters because I know I told them. But it was about a ventriloquist. So then what I did not look up or go to remember the scriptures at the time. This is what I did. I was like, I'm not sitting tight with this ventriloquist thing. Something is going on with this ventriloquist. So I looked to see, you know, I always go to the Bible. Some people go to dream books and the internet and everything like that. You'd be surprised. Like anything that you think is in the scripture. You're not going to believe this. When I go to look up ventriloquist, Bible verse for ventriloquist, guess what the Lord reveals? The scriptures that came up was Isaiah 29:4. And then it was like Acts 16:16. Do you know that the witch in Endor was a ventriloquist? Do you know that the verse Isaiah 29:4 is talking about ventriloquist? Do you know that the ventriloquist always has a dummy? Remember the person that I said was like hobo? And when you see the dummies have they inhabit the dummy. Why the word idol? You know what that comes from? That's where we get the word dolls from. Do you know the familiar spirit, the divination, how they was talking about your carved images and the objects that they can do? And you ever notice how a lot of these through history, when you've seen these entertainers that do like ventriloquist acts and everything like that, it almost seems creepy, the relationship that the ventriloquist has with the puppet. When I was doing the research about this, I've even seen like some of the performers, when they die, the doll goes in the coffin with them. Remember, prophet said that he saw ventriloquist holding this, this box. That box is what they carry the dolls in. The dolls are carried around in a coffin. So when you see this ventriloquist is looking at this person, hobo, holding a box. That's the box for the dummy. So they are, which is telling me that the person, hobo, is, in other words, the puppet, the dummy, and it's speaking through them. This is not this person. This person is possessed, and the ventriloquist is possessing them, and they're about to put the dummy inside the coffin, which means this is a death assignment. Are you serious? This is what came. Oh my God, this is so creepy. What's happening? So when we go and we look at Isaiah 29:4, the other scripture that parallels this is the witch at Endor. And she's bought, and said that she was going around and she was making her masters all of this money, and how she was speaking and everything. What she was doing, they called it ventriloquism. Ventriloquism is a form of necromancy. I'm telling you, got to look it up. Go to Google and Google ventriloquist in the Bible, or we can put ventriloquist KJV, King James Bible. Look at the scriptures that come up, and as you begin to research, you understand she was not just doing like witchcraft and divination. This divination is idol worship. Idol worship was when you were conjuring up the demon to speak through the wood, to speak through the dog, to speak through the object. Why? Because the demons are trying to copy God. We are the vessels that God speaks through. His word come through us. So to mimic and to try to be like God, like Satan did, they got a dummy. They got a carved image. They are the puppet master has the puppet, and they're using that to copy and mimic God. But in order to do it, we get inhabited by the Holy Spirit. They are using an object or summoning something to speak and move through the object, move through it. And then what ends up happening, just like at the end of the life, what ends up happening with these people that do ventriloquism, they end up like, they don't have no families, they don't have no friends. Their whole life becomes enamored or just engulfs the dummy, the doll, because the demon is inside of it. It's like the demon pushes everything away. I'm telling you, we're gonna have to talk about this. This is happening right now. We've been seeing this Joker spirit. I remember before we had the 10 days of prayer in 2020, it was before Rosh Hashanah. And I know this has to do with Rosh Hashanah. I believe this Rosh Hashanah is going to be the Rosh Hashanah of an extreme judgment. God is going to judge. And I'm telling you, these ventriloquists, these people that have been serving these gods and all the kind of stuff like that, these ventriloquists, man, those that have been serving them, this is idol worship, this is divination, this is the worst kind of witchcraft. It's necromancy. You're dealing with the dead, and when you're dealing with the dead pull you down. I tell people all the time, you start playing with black magic, you start dealing with these witches and this witchcraft. And Prophet said what he saw, they were two warlocks. One was close and one was far. One was close enough to make Hobo think that they was helping him and all kinds of stuff. Nah, they was setting him up to bring him down. Isaiah 29, you will be brought down, you will be brought low, you will speak from the dust. Meaning they're trying to kill people right now. These necromancers, these ventriloquists and everything like that. I know this sounds crazy. And for those of you that are not spiritual, you're just gonna take this as entertainment. Just dismiss it like you always do. Don't pay attention to nothing that I'm saying, because I'm just some crazy light-skinned multiracial lady that don't know what she talking about. I'm at peace with that. I'm talking about those Bible believers that are, and something in your spirit is saying, let me check this out. You thought that this situation with the witch of Endor was simple, but it's not. This is necromancy. This is a form of divination, and this is ventriloquism. It's in the Bible. It's ancient. It is an ancient form of witchcraft, and it's not new. It's not entertainment. It's not funny. It's not a game. When you start seeing it, this is when you're dealing, God will allow you to see this when you are when God is letting you know that someone has been full-blown possessed by demons. It's not them anymore. It's not their character anymore. All you see, and everything about them is dark. Everything is dark, just like in their dream. It was this one area, and I'm like, this thing is dark over there. And when I began to research what Su Yin meant, it was talking like this was a treasure. This was a precious, one or whatever. And we'll talk about that later. But this lady was taking record and name. And then after she took record and name, I went up these steps and went into this room. And the professor was teaching about the scripture, teaching about the necromancy, what it was letting the people in the class know that this is what's happening right now. And what was happening, this thing, it was an arched door and a tongue rolled out. You understand? And I'm just telling you, this is going to be an amazing teaching that we're going to talk about. Only God could give you something like this. This information can only come from God, and it all stemmed because I was in a trance and I began to flinch, and then the energy of whatever was happening to me transferred to someone where they jumped back and said, God, What is this? What's trying to come at her? And then the word was, she's divinely protected. She's divinely, but God himself is protecting Asia. This is what has been, they were moving through this person, but she has been removed. She's divinely, but this person is the puppet's dummy, the dummy that they speak, the puppet that they speak to, and the ventriloquist is telling them what to say, making them do whatever. They're out of control of themselves. It's not them, and there's two of them. So those of you that know dreams and everything like that, how God sees, God says that when he says things twice, or shows us something twice, it's established, and it's sure to happen, and it's coming quickly when God does something like that right behind one another. So this is really crazy, what is happening. We're going to talk about this more, just not right now. I need to take a break and relax and grab something to eat. But I did want to share that dream with you, because if you're noticing, changes in people, that's just not how they are, and I don't know how, but I'm even feeling in my spirit right now, all of that I just shared with you in the beginning about relationships and family and not knowing what people are going through and everything. I feel now so strongly that I'm confident that God needed to preface what I just told you about this ventriloquist, so that you would be able to know what is happening and why you need to have compassion, why you need to pay attention to your loved one, why you need to make that phone call, why you need to know who's around them, what's going on, why even, like as I'm talking right now, my daughter, I had to tell them, she's not by herself. We are one. We are, first name Su Yin, last name Su Yin, and I believe it, this is treasured one of heaven. You understand? So, and it's so precious what God is saying in this. So, we're going to talk about it. But this message about the ventriloquist, and it's been going on, this is like day 4 now, and this is all that's been happening, and it's actually other people are beginning to see this thing, and I just need you to understand what you're seeing. This is, I believe this is a move of the Holy Spirit, because it's more than one of us that are getting pieces to this puzzle right now. Something really big is about to happen, and I feel like even though these are like situations that we can come close to understanding, I believe there's a bigger message, maybe, nationally, that's happening. There's a huge puppet master, and this is something really big, and I don't feel like this is good that's going to happen to a lot of people, but there is a remnant that is divinely protected by God. So that's what all I'm going to say right now. And I just felt like this might be, this might make some of you happy, being that I haven't been on. It's like, what is going on with her? Why hasn't she been on? I was taking a break. I needed to take a break after campaign. I needed to rest. I needed to be safe as well. I just needed to do this. So please love and give me grace and forgive me if I did not respond immediately right back. I just needed this time, just to be with, some quiet, and I needed to be alone with God. I needed to be alone with God. Because I'm spending that alone time with God, I'm having revelations. The dreams are just, and I don't have anything distracting me. I don't have to worry about somebody bothering me. I don't have to worry about nobody lying on me. I don't have to worry about I have a break, and I'm enjoying it. I am truly, truly enjoying it. So, I think that's about all I'm going to say right now. But, and I do have other dreams. So I want to tell you about, the 3 lions that I saw. But I'm just going to tell you that dream. I'm not going to elaborate on it. I want you all to kind of like receive whatever the Lord is saying to you from that. But, I'll do that in another video. If not later on today, tomorrow. I have to prepare to shoot for the TV show right now. But when I talk to you like this, it's just, personal, me and you, and just so you see my face. I believe in being, one-on-one. When you talk to me, I want you to feel like on this forum that I'm right there with you in the living room, or you're right here with me, on the set that I'm on. And I just want you to know that all is well. Again, all of you that have written me, because I haven't been on, I'm fine. Please forgive me for not, just coming on just to say hello. I'll try to at least once a week, even if I don't give a full message or anything like that. I'll just come on just to tell you I don't want you worried about me or anything like that. God has us and he loves us. So let's just, let's just, bless the Lord in all that we do. I pray the love of Yeshua Jesus on all of you, the peace of God on all of you. I pray that any concerns or cares or things that you may have heavy on your heart, I pray that the Lord lifts them and blesses you and just replaces anything that's negative with positive and good things and lovely things. I just pray wonderful things upon you. Anyone that have had an uncomfortable dream or message or anything like that, I just pray that Father, just let you receive what you're supposed to receive and just remove anything that leaves you feeling anything less than love and peace and all manner of goodness in your heart and your mind and your spirit, even in your environment. I wish the best for you. And sincerely, every manner of blessing I wish to be your portion. And I pray that God visits each and every one of you. I pray that he speaks to you. I pray that nothing in this video that I've shared offends anybody. A lot of it is hypothetical. Some things are touching on little things that may have come close to me or anything like that, but it's all testimony to bless you and to help you. If anything that I've been through in life or overcome or risen above or anything like that can be a blessing to someone, I just pray that, my transparency and me just sharing, it just blesses you. I never want to hurt anyone. I never want anyone to be, do you see the angels? They're all over here. I don't know if I can see the mist, the change in the atmosphere, but I just pray the peace of God to be with all of you. I hope that you're looking at me and you can see that I'm not telling you that I'm okay, that you can see that I'm doing well, I'm being well taken care of, and I'm healing inside and all around, So I bless all of you. I want to give a special shout out and love to my sisters. I love you all. I miss you all. I just want to all over you. You mean the world to me. I just adore you. God really blessed me when he gave you all to me. I just, get me crying when I think about y'all, because I have something that not a lot of people have, and you are a gift to me, and prayers answered, and we just handle prayers answered a little bit different. So Prophet, I love you too. Wherever you are right now, thank you for everything. I'm okay. I'm eating good. Thank you. And just everyone that's just giving me that grace and time just to, just be with Father right now. That's the best place for me. And it's the only place that I really feel comfortable and safe. So thank you so much. Many mahalos. Hope everybody in Hawaii, they are doing well, and I'll see everybody eventually. I don't know when, but I'm just going to take my time and let Father finish with me so that I can be my best for you. Amen. Aloha and shalom. Oh, and Rabbi, I love you too. Miss you, and see you soon.